cheering thousands, no flags or bunting, but a day of interesting relaxation in the Transvaal's Game Reserve. And the denizens of Kruger Park display only the mildest interest in their royal visitors. Lions, impala, wildbeester, zebra, they all roam at will in this great park. They leave their spoor in the track and other more permanent records in the Royal Cine Camera, which is always ready to shoot. The hippos, coolest of all in the African heat, lazily sport themselves in the Sabi River, their blowing being the only demonstration for the royal family in a quiet and sweltering day's rest.
Men of the Union who fought in the desert and helped to drive the Germans out of Africa joined in the march past of ex-servicemen of Johannesburg when the royal family visited the city. The famous Elof Street and all the center of Johannesburg was magnificently illuminated at night. No fuel restrictions condemned South African cities to nights of gloom. The royal visit was royally celebrated. The new colors of 14 South African regiments were dedicated on Roberts Heights at Pretoria. After the dedication service, the King formally handed each color to its ensign. It was fitting that at Pretoria, administrative capital of the Union, His Majesty should make royal acknowledgment of the valor shown by South African soldiers in 2 world wars. For it was by the peace signed at Pretoria that South Africa entered the British family of nations. The world's biggest liner is safely off the bramble shingle bank at the entrance to Southampton Harbor. She went aground at the worst possible time, during the neap tides, and many local seamen doubted if the great vessel would be refloated for some days. All available tugs rushed to the scene, but the ship resisted all efforts to get her off. In the morning there was no better luck. The bow was well up on the shingle, the hull showing 4 feet of roof topping above water even at high tide. Between tides, the fuel oil was pumped out to lighten ship. It was fortunate that the weather was calm. While waiting for high water, more tugs were summoned from Portsmouth, ready for an all-out attempt to get her off on the night tide. Arrangements were made for more than 600 of the first-class passengers to be taken ashore. Luggage was removed first. It would have been a serious matter for Atlantic travel had the Queen Elizabeth not been refloated that night. Her sister ship, the Queen Mary, is at Southampton being refitted after war service as a troop ship. All day, people watched from shore, speculating as to the chances of getting her off that night. To the great relief of everybody, the Queen Elizabeth was refloated and the potential danger averted.
With thousands of retirements during the war years, London's Metropolitan Police are in the throes of recruitment and training, and a steady flow of first-class men, 95% of them demobilized from the fighting services, is passing through the intensive 13-week course at Hendon. Selection and medical boards passed, there's plenty to keep the accepted man busy and fit. And self-defense, the disarming of the thug, is just one of the accomplishments to be mastered in the public's protection. Gangsters would think twice if they could see this. There's the law to master, too, the wiles of the miscreant to study, the intricacies of evidence and court procedure, and the handling of traffic problems that cost us so many lives. However many or few chevrons he may carry, there's no more respected policeman in the world. And when he dons the blue of the law, the recruit joins a force that's second to none. In the recruits now flowing through the Hendon College, trained, equipped, and now making a passing-out salute to Commissioner Sir Harold Scott, there are fine fellows from every walk of life. Sailors, soldiers, airmen, commandos, fighter pilots, solid countrymen, provincial yeomen, all dedicated to a career of public service. And as a postscript, there still aren't enough. Wembley, with smiling spring, putting a hopeful look on the faces of 100,000 packing the stadium, while the Prime Minister greets the teams in the Anglo-Scottish International. Scotland, a team of criticised selection, but one to give a surprise to the better acquainted English, who are expected to win. England's toss, and from now until the end, the Scots are to make the springy turf their own. They're to outwit and generally outplay the Sassenachs. Brilliant Scots passing and control and a badly knit England defence must bring their results sooner or later. Delaney opens the way for McLaren, and here it comes. Half-time with Scotland one up and playing not as comparative strangers, but as a close-knit team. But some improvement from England now. The half-backs have got to know each other, though Matthews on the wing is still being starved. At last, Lawton fools the Scots defence for Carter to bag the equaliser. And so it remains, 1-1, a lesson in football for an England 11 that should have done better, from an experimental Scotland team that won an easy moral victory. What price the profits now? And now over to Cheltenham for more perfect weather, record crowds on the lovely course, and what better setting for the National Hunt steeplechase. 20 runners for the 4:15, with Domino and Parthenon starting at 9 to 2, Maltese Wanderer at 6, Soda the second at 7, and down to 20s and 25s for the rest. Plenty to choose from for the fashionable students of 4. They're off, 20 of them for the 4-mile chase. A nice open field, herring for the first of more than a score of jumps. This is how the National should have been. Solid ground and no mud to turn the going into toffee. They're all jumping well and no casualties so far. Oh, I take that back. The Cheltenham racegoers are having a grand day. This is the 5th race of the afternoon, and having seen the Gold Cup go to Fortuna, the more knowing or more venturesome are waiting to pull off a double on the Hunt Cup. They hope. But there's not much to go now. Maltese Wanderer has put himself well up. He's running strongly and jumping cleanly, and it looks as if it's decided, barring accidents. No, he's not likely to lose it now, and with all those lengths in hand, he's safe. Maltese Wanderer it is, all on his own, with Soda the Second and Parson after him, but at a very respectful distance. Mr. Wells, Maltese Wanderer, carrying Edstone 12, collects the national hunt chase at 6-1, and very comfortably.